once again, it's your boy Day from Triple D Gaming coming at you with another map making video. You know how we do it. Let's get to it. Alright, ladies and gents. So, two things. My graphics card kind of like took a crap, and I tore it apart, cleaned it. So far it's working. Knock on wood, knock on wood. And then the map, we got it to this point, and then it accidentally got deleted. So I haven't streamed this long, just trying to get the map back to what it was. And I believe we got it there. It's not exactly 100% exactly the way it was, just because it's hard to exactly make it match. But we got it pretty close. So let's get to it. We were just shy of getting ready to paint all of our textures in, and then I started to stream, and obviously it crashed on me. And then in the midst of that crash, the map got deleted, and I didn't have a backup of it when I always have a backup of the maps I'm working on. I just hadn't created one for this yet. So we definitely got one now, for sure. But we even put this back in there for our I can't think. Our Easter egg. There we go. But pretty much got everything back to where it was. My only thing is the trains, they normally run off of splines, okay? Well, I cannot find the spline for it, and you click on everything up here, and I just can't find it. So, but what I wanted to do was just raise the track up a little bit, so whenever that bridge comes across here, it's not just floating above the water, it'll actually be up in the air. But I can't find the spline for it to get it moved up in the air. Obviously I can put this one up in the air, the car bridge, but I can't get this one up in the air. I'm sure by the time we get done with it, I might be able to figure it out. Hopefully. But if we come to the splines, it's definitely not in splines. And then you could highlight everything here, and it just doesn't find the spline for the train. It's just not there. Then you come down to the railroad stuff, highlight it, it's not there. It highlights the track, but there's just no spline for it. So I don't know how this train's operating. Obviously it has to have some type of spline for that train to be working. And I've been through a lot of stuff up here trying to look for something hidden to come over here and make it visible, but I just can't find it. I really can't. So I'm gonna continue looking for that. Hopefully we find it shortly. But what I'm gonna do is what we were doing when it crashed last time. Was getting some rocks for this waterfall. So we're gonna go ahead and do some importing here and find some rocks. Just to play some music, and hopefully that doesn't cause any issues. So far so good though. Knock on wood. Alright, now I gotta find the map and then find us some rocks. Objects. So rock 1. I'm actually going to back up. I'm going to set him down here on the ground. Alright, rock 1. Find rock 2. I don't even know if there is a rock 2, to tell you the truth. This is just rocks that I threw into the map, but I still gotta import them. So it's whatever I threw in there, and I can't remember what it was. Alright, so we got 10 rocks. Let me go ahead and grab one of those. See what it looks like here. Where'd it go? Alright, delete that because obviously I didn't grab the actual rock. Somehow. Ha! Delete that. I have another one, so let's gotta get back down to it. Yeah, this is great because it definitely took a crap on me. My graphics card. There's still something wrong with it, but at least it's letting us stream for right now. I don't understand. It's probably gonna make me actually have to go to a map that I have these in and export them in, because all I did was just grab the i3D files and the files and threw them into the maps files, and then I imported them from the map, so it should be showing up, but it's not. Obviously it's there, but it's not there. That one showed up and I put it in the same exact way. There's been a few things that it hasn't been showing up like that. So now what that's telling me is anything I do put in, I can't get too far. I'm gonna have to throw the map in game just to make sure it's actually showing up in game, because there's a lot of stuff that you can throw into the map and it'll show up in the editor, but as soon as you go into the game, it's just not there. So as I add stuff, I'm gonna have to check for that just to make sure it's actually coming in to the map. And then if not, I'll have to go into another map that has it and then export it. Alright, so we need rock. Okay, yeah, there's rock 1, 2 dark, 3 dark, 4, and 5. So I got 5 of them. And that's exactly what I did with the other waterfall. I used these same rocks. So here's number 2. We'll bring it in. Pop it down. Export. Or import rather. Find rock number 3. And I actually threw a lot of stuff into this map that way by throwing the files and the i3D files in the files. So I'm hoping that they don't have that problem where they're not showing up, because there's a lot of stuff that I'll actually have to go and search and find again. That way I was just able to throw everything in all at once without having to individually find everything. And there's a lot of stuff that I've found already that's going to make me individually find it again. Which sucks, but it is what it is. A little more work, that's all. Alright, now we need rock 5. And I have all these rocks up here that we already had from the tunnels and that, which is pretty much the same rocks that I'm bringing in. And then we're going to put them in their own category right here. Now what I did, this took me 2 days to do it. That's why it took, another reason why it took so long to start streaming again. But the trees, whenever you clicked on a tree, it opened up a list of every single tree in the map. Nothing was condensed and properly filed to where it was just a big mess up here. And it took me 2 days, but I condensed it all down. So we got 2 separate groups here. We got group 1, group 2. This one here just has all the mountain trees. So all the trees on this mountain are in here. And I still want to change that to where it still broke down more. And then in this one here, we got separate groups. So there's birch tree groups. Then whenever you open that up, you got birch tree stage 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So if you only wanted to mess with the stage 5 birches, then you could just open up that, and it's not opening up a massive list of every single tree on the map. That's just the birch 5s. And like I said, it took me 2 days to condense all of this down. So here's all your birches. Now if you close that, then here's all your spruces. And it's the same thing with the spruces. Stage 1, stage 2 groups, stage 3, and stage 4. So I got all that condensed so it's nice and neat. And whenever you click on a tree, it doesn't open up 9,000 trees on the list here. It just opens up that specific tree in that tree group. It doesn't open up every single tree on the map. Then same here for the pines. We got our groups there. Nice and clean. Files are clean. 2 days it took me to do that. And there's still a lot of cleaning to do on this map because there's just all kinds of files, man. But we're going to get them cleaned up. Sloth Squad, what's going on, brother? Let's get to it. I'm good. Yeah, I haven't streamed in a while because when we were working on this map, we were on episode 10. Well, the map got deleted and I had no backup of it. So I had to redo this whole map and get it back to where we had it. And it took me all this time to get it there. And then my graphics card took a crap on me, so I couldn't stream. Like the graphics card, it wasn't doing that. It wouldn't let me do nothing. I just had black screens. And I pulled it out of the PC yesterday and completely tore it apart and cleaned it. And thankfully, it's working for right now. So I desperately need a new card, man, because it's on its last leg for sure. It's not gonna last too much longer. Now I need rock 5. Yeah, when I deleted the map, well, it deleted because when I tried to stream episode 11, it crashed and it deleted the map and I had no backup. And my heart dropped, man. I was like, oh no. And I searched and searched, tried to get it back. It's just the way it deleted it. It bypassed the trash can. So it was not in the recycling bin. And then I tried recovery software and everything. I just ended up having to remake the map. And then I had to watch every single stream from beginning to end to try to mimic to get it all the same way that I had it before. And it's pretty close. Obviously it's not an exact replica, but it is pretty close. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, somebody's actually paying me to do this, so I had to get it back. Yeah, it wasn't good, brother. It was not good. I was definitely sick about it. I can't even explain to you how sick I was. So, I'd like to incorporate this one, but it's got too much. I do and I don't like the green on it. Okay? Like right here. That's stretched out so it just looks stupid, I guess. Right here, this part of it. Now if it all looked like that, like it should, that'd be cool. But it's stretched out here. It just don't look right to me. Oh, and I tell you what too, guys. So this map only had very little paintable textures. So you had this dirt, that grass, the rock that's down there in the water bed, and that's about it. Like there wasn't much. And before I restarted the map, building the map, I sat here and I took like 3 days trying to figure this out, and I got hundreds beyond hundreds of textures here, new textures to add to the map. So as we're working on the map there, we got a big variety of paintable textures now. So I figured that out. That's great. I'm excited about that. Looks like you have pulled it back, mate. Looking nice. Make sure you put it on a USB as well to make sure you have it backed up. Yeah, man. So I mean, listen, this is what I do. Okay, whenever I'm building a map, after I reach a certain point, okay, then I'll zip it up and I'll throw it in game for testing. Well, that's kind of my backup. It'll be in the game, and then I got I'll throw it on my D drive too, so I have it there as well. So I actually have 2 backups. And then after I build so much, boom, then I'll zip it up and then replace the one that was in the game and then in the on the D drive. So I always got an updated version, backup version of it. Well, I just hadn't zipped this up yet, and that's why I didn't have a backup of it. Yeah, the paintable textures, man. I wanted the paintable textures from the beginning because of what I'm doing here. This area here is going to be for mine and sand. And I'm like, how am I supposed to put sand down with no paintable sand? The only paintable sand that was on this map was wet sand. Now we have wet sand. We have wet sand. We have regular sand. We have the textured sand, or the rough sand. So it looks like the people walk through it or whatever. And then we have the, like right here. How this is a water spot. Like a water puddle. Well, now we also have the sand puddles too. We have 2 different sand puddles. So that was the main reason of me wanting to add paintable textures, was mainly for the sand. So as you see right here, we got regular beach sand now, we got the rough sand, and then we have wet sand, right? So wet sand, rough sand, regular sand. And then we now have the sand puddles. So again, right there's the regular water puddle. And this is a sand puddle. One has rocks and one does not. So there's sand puddle 1 and then sand puddle 2. Right, so sand puddle 1 has the rock in it. These were the main things I wanted to add. And then here's the other one. So there's like 267 different paintable textures you can add to a map. But the way the textures was added to this map, it wouldn't let me. That's why it wasn't working. It didn't work the first time when I started this map. It would not let me just take and add every single one of them all at once. I had to do it one at a time, and there was a little handful of them that it just would not let me add to the map. And what happened was, it would let me add them. The name for it would show up over here whenever I did add it. But whenever I painted it down, it was just a big white blur of light. And it wasn't showing the actual texture. And it's just the way that the textures was added to the map. And it's too hard to explain. But other than that, I got a bunch of them added to it. So that's what really counts. I'm happy I got the ones that I wanted. Sorry about that. I had to see if I had to get my daughter from school. Good idea. Do you have the block paving paint? Didn't know there was that many. Yeah, there's, well, technically it's not really that many, but what makes it that many is, I'll show you. This is what makes it that many. Alright, so up here's your paintable stuff. Alright, so let's use grass as an example. No, let's use sand as an example. So right here we have beach sand, sand rough, and sand wet. Okay, but whenever you scroll down here, now you got the same thing, but it's beach sand 1, beach sand 2, beach sand 3, beach sand 4. Now if you take these, if you take beach sand 1 and you painted a little bit of that down, right? Now let's do beach sand 2. Alright, now I'm going to zoom into it. It's pretty much the same thing, right? But there's a wee, it's hard to tell with this. With the sand. It's easier to tell with grass or something. But anyhow, there's like a pattern. Alright, and then this one here is like a slightly different pattern. And then number 3 would be a different pattern. And number 4 would be another pattern. So whenever you come into here, 1, 2, 3, and 4 is your patterns. But if you came clean up to the top where the letters are bigger and it just says beach sand, okay, what that is a mixture of all 4 patterns just put into one. So it paints all 4 of the patterns down at once. And it kind of mixes them up. So that's what gives you so many textures. When technically it's not that many textures. So you got beach sand, and then you got beach sand 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that it's counting that as 5 instead of 1. So that's how it ends up being like 267 different textures. Which there could be as many textures as you want, because you can make your own textures. You can take a picture of something and add it to the game and make your own texture. But as far as in-game textures, that's all the textures there is from the American map and from the other map. But it's oh, you know what, the other one that I really wanted for this map was, like, it's the grass. It's grass and dirt mixed, and it's just like all dirt and then patches of grass in it. That's the one I really wanted for this map, but I could not get it to work. It would come in, but like I said, whenever you tried to paint it down, it would just be a bright shiny light. So I just gave up on it and settled for what I got. I said, I'm just going to give up on it before I really mess stuff up. Because if you get it in there like that, or I brought all of the textures in all at once, okay? Well, the way I brought them in, I had to change it from the way the original map maker had it. So when I changed it, it brought all the textures in. They were all in. I could paint with them. Everything was working. But what it did, is it erased all the textures that were on the map. Like it was all, the whole map was one solid color. So I could have kept all the textures and had to repainted the whole map. I mean everything, because it was all one solid color, just all blank. So I could have kept all the textures and then had to repaint the map, or get rid of the texture, do what I did and start over. But whenever you do that, and it changes, it actually changes the i3D file of the map. And if you go in and delete it, or if you had a backup of the i3D, it, no matter what, it just won't let you, it won't revert back. It just will not revert back. So I ended up having to delete it and start over again. So I was like, I'm glad I tried to add them textures before I started building the map again, or that would have been a little disappointing. So, I mean, this is cool, but I don't know if I like it. Especially because it really doesn't go with these ones. And these are what I'm going to use up here. Alright, and the reason I'm going to use rocks is, for one, it's going to make it look good. But, I mean, I could use these lighter ones right here for the same thing I'm going to do right here. But the main reason I'm going to use the rocks is just because of how the water is. It's one sharp corner right here. Right? I could just have the waterfall water here, but it doesn't look right unless you have water behind it. It looks better when you actually have water on horizontal water behind it. It makes it look better. But then that leaves you with this sharp corner right here. So the way, which this waterfall is huge, you really wouldn't see it unless you were up on it, but I want it to be perfect. So that's what I use the rocks for, is to hide this sharp corner right here. So I'll line this with rocks, then the waterfall water will be like flowing over them. So it'll be, I guess that isn't too far off, them two rocks there. But normally I would just use rocks, individual rocks, and build my own rock face coming up and down there. This one's okay because it doesn't have all that green on it. It's not terrible. But then again, I don't want to line the whole thing with the same rock over and over again, because you can only change its direction to make it look different so many times. It'd be nice if I could take some of the green off of this thing. I don't know if I can. What is this? I was hoping that was the moss, the green stuff. Just pull it right off of there. Alright, buddy. Yeah, as usual, thanks for stopping in, brother. Yeah, I'm trying to get I thought I had my 4,000 hours to be YouTube partner, but I guess I do have 4,000 hours, but it wasn't all public, and it has to be 4,000 hours of public view time, so I still need 150 hours of view time, so I definitely got to hit it hard. I'd be okay once the new game came out, but my graphics card is not going to run the new game and record at the same time, so I'm kind of worried about that. But yeah, like always, brother, I appreciate it for sure. You know what, I might be able to take that greenness off from here. Not really sure, but we're going to try it out. Alright, so it's all one. If I had paint.net or something, I could come in here and paint over this and get rid of that, or lay textures over it or something, but yeah, the way it is, I'm not going to be able to get rid of it. Yeah, it is what it is. Alright, so maybe we'll just use one of these in the middle or something, just to break it up. Then again, I might just end up stacking the whole thing with those rocks, because they actually match the rock wall here. That looks pretty good already. Oh, I gotta bring my white water in first before I really get to doing anything, because I want to see if I can cover this all with white water. And I had to turn the speed of the water down because I had this, I don't know if you guys can see that. You see how it's actually flowing, like the water's flowing towards the waterfall, which is awesome, and that's exactly what I wanted, and I got it to do that. But here's where the problem comes in. It's not just doing it on my waterfall water. Whenever I changed it on the waterfall, it actually changed every water plane on the map. So now it has the main water doing that too, and I don't want the main water doing that. See how fast that is? And that's not right. So I gotta see if I can find a workaround. And I'm thinking of the way I might be able to do it is just get a map that I don't really care about. Change the water to what I want it to do, and then export it from that map into this one, and it should keep it different doing it that way. Should. I don't know if it will work, but the only way to find out is to try it. See, that's not too terrible, but yeah, this is the fun part though. We're definitely on the fun part. Now we get to put our rocks in, put our waterfall water in, and start painting all of our textures down, because we got the main layout of everything. I gotta paint the wet sand texture down here before I lower the ground to reveal the water. I don't have to, I can paint it afterwards, but I want to kind of paint it before just to make sure I get it all painted. Thing's definitely bigger than what I thought it was. That thing is huge. Alright, so Yeah, I don't want to block this. Yeah, because this is where we had it where you climb up in here for your Easter egg, which I don't know if it's actually going to work or not. I haven't tested it to see if you could actually climb up this or not. The whole game plan here was to jump from here over to here, and then jump up here, but I think that's kind of impossible as well. So all I gotta do there is kind of sink this in a little bit so you can jump up on there. It's fixable. Once I get that water in here, man, it's gonna be dope. Alright. Ooh, excuse me. Yeah, we gotta put our fish in here too. I still have not downloaded Blender yet to get our shark and killer whale in here, which I could have had it if it wasn't for having to rebuild the map. How about it? But you'll have days like that, I guess. Flip this whole thing upside down just to make it look different. Again, I mean, I was going to put it over here, but I really can't. Or it's going to block that off on us. So, I mean, I could just turn it here, like so. Tilt it back. And drop it in the corner. Just poking out of that corner like so. Alright. It's starting to look good. I just wish I had different ones of these, which I could search a map and find some. But different ones of these that wasn't saturated with the green like that. There might be some different ones here in this map. I just haven't really searched the map for them. But again, all I gotta do, like I've done before, is just build the whole thing just out of these 5 rocks right here. And just by tweaking and turning them a little bit here and there, it doesn't look like the same rock repeated over and over again. It looks like different rocks. It just all depends on how you tweak them and turn them. But we definitely, whatever we do, we have to cover this corner, this sharp corner. That's what we're trying to disguise with these rocks. If a wee little tiny piece of it sticking out, that's fine. I'd rather not, but if need be, it's okay. And like I said, I mean, this thing is so high up in the air, you'd really have to be up on it to even notice it. Like that right there. See how that's sticking out? I want to hide the obvious. That's just way too obvious and looking bad. Alright. So something like that, and just build the rocks across. And then, just as long as we leave this open here for our Easter egg somehow. I just really wish I could have got that dirt grass mixture in, which I do have different things. I mean, I could do that manually, the dirt grass mix, but it would, I mean, it's just going to take longer to actually sit there and paint that in. These are a little bit different shade than the these are darker than this, but you get them laid in there and get that waterfall water running over it, get everything, the textures of everything else painted in, it looks good. Obviously, just go look at my last map with the waterfall. It looks amazing. And that's how I built that waterfall, just with these rocks lying in that waterfall. Yeah, so this here wasn't the game plan to add these in there like that. But I just set them in there to see how it looks, and it looks pretty good. But after I get these in, if it doesn't look good after I get these in, then these are coming back out, and I'll just build it all out of these. Because all I gotta do is like grab one of these, throw it up here, and then kind of turn it to where it's kind of like flat on that wall. Then we could do stuff like that and just step these rocks all the way up, mainly like up the sides, across the top, and down the other side, and then maybe a couple right on the bottom, and then the waterfall water is going to kind of disguise everything else, and maybe have a rock or two poking out there, and it'll look good. Like, I'd rather build it like this because I can really control how it looks. With these, you're pretty much just stuck throwing the thing in there and hopefully it looks good. You can still control it with these, you just got to overlap them in that, but look at that, that looks good, man. I was hoping not to block that off, so you could actually come up here and walk across this by coming through here. You could actually walk down this wall right here. Yeah, right here. So you could start from down there and just actually walk up here and walk up to the waterfall. Where's it at? Yeah. But this might block you. It's not important that you do. I mean, because you could always come from up there or something, or over here, but yeah, man, it's gonna be dope. I'm excited. Yep. Alright, so I gotta bring my white water in and see if I can get this white water going, and then we'll finish working on that. Then we'll put the actual waterfall water in, put the white water in, and get these rocks set. Then we'll put the waterfall water in. Then we'll jump down here and do this section of the fall, and then, like I said, we'll start painting everything. We'll get the water, the land pushed down to reveal the water, and then run the water underneath of our bridges. Then hopefully I'm gonna jack this bridge up in the air a little bit so it's not like hovering right above the water, so you get a boat or something under there. Not really, but you know. And then I gotta find the splines for that train so I can get that train to come up, because I can raise the bridge and the tracks up for it. But if I do that, then the train's just still going to ride along the ground, and it's going to go through the bridge, unless I find the spline that train is running on. And like I said, I can't find it. But after we do that, get the water running there, then we'll get our grass painted wherever we need grass, and then we'll run our trees back up on the hills and everything, and pop a few trees in on here and on this side, and then we'll move on to the next part of the map. Let me do a little importing. I don't know if this white water is going to work just because of the shape of it, the way it is shaped. But let me bring it in and then see how it's actually made, and I might be able to take a square thing and actually make that water. So let's try it. Scroll down. I'm in the imports right now. And this, it just makes it look like, you know, before a waterfall, after a waterfall. And it makes the water look like it's foamy, like white water. And I've never seen anybody do this on this game to make it look like white water like that before a waterfall. I actually discovered it in the last map that I made, and it worked out perfect. So we're going to mimic that. Something's telling me that these imports, yeah, these imports just aren't working, which they should be, because like I said, I got the i3D and the actual files for it in here, but it's not working. They're not working right. So I'm actually going to have to take and go to the map where all this stuff is and individually import it all again, which sucks. Really sucks. So that's going to take a lot of time to do that. This here should work. Should. And it did not. It did not work. I don't get it. I don't understand it. Alright, so unfortunately, that's what made it crash last time whenever I tried to open up another map to get stuff imported. And I don't want to chance it crashing on me again, so we're going to have to work on that later. I don't understand. Like, I actually put the i3D files in the map, so I don't understand why it's not important. Because I'm importing it from the map that I'm working on, so should be able to import it from it into it, and it's just not working like that. I have the i3D files and everything, it's just not showing up. I'm just going to test something here just to see if anything's working. Okay, it brought it in, but it's white. Alright, so that means everything that I have, I'm pretty much just going to have to delete it all out of the map, and I'm going to have to import it all again. Which really, really sucks. But it is what it is, I guess. Try importing something else here. Because obviously I just imported them rocks and they worked. But nothing else is working. So that's telling me I better go I better go in game and make sure them rocks aren't white or whatever. Alright, see now this is working. And this was added the same exact way everything else was added. So that's working. Just the main key things that I need right now aren't working. Go figure. See if this works. Oh. Man, it's a lot of stuff I gotta go import. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. Yep. Yeah, I mean it sucks, man. It is what it is, though, so we just can't work on that right now. Because I don't want to fill it in with rocks until I get that water set, because them rocks will be in my road. So we're just going to have to work on something else for right now. Unfortunately. Yep. I should put out some type of notification on Instagram, Twitter, saying I was going live here. I haven't had very much luck doing that though, because nobody ever comes over. But alright, so let's see. I guess we'll do some painting. Painting. Wet sand. I mean, this is just awesome. We got all these textures now, man. I'm so excited about that. Shouldn't be so excited about some paintable textures, but let me tell you. I am excited. That's any bad part about painting on a straight up and down wall, because sometimes you actually want it to run up and down the wall like that because it makes it look nice, like real nice. But there's other times, like in our situation right now, I don't want it to. Just because, like if we were putting water in here and the water level would end up like up here, it'd be fine. But we're actually sinking the ground down. We're going to be sinking the ground down, and the water is actually underneath the ground right now. So we don't want it coming up the wall like that. If it just came up a little bit like that right there, that's cool. But I don't want it shooting way up the wall. Up like that. There under the falls, we'll leave that rock right there. It's going to be covered with rock anyhow. Yeah, you can see our water there. Yeah, that really sucked. That's gonna take me a lot of time getting all that stuff imported over to this map. A long time. Not as long as it took me to... I actually have to go to the maps and find all the stuff again. Which is sad, because I already have it, and I have it in here. But it just... Some things work and some things don't, as you've seen. It won't take me as long as it did having to rebuild the map, though, I can tell you that. And then, at least when I get to the bottom where I know the water's going to be, and then after we sink the ground down, then that's when I'll go ahead and paint the dry sand, like around the edges and that. Oh, for your question too, Sloth Squad, I know you're not on here, but you said you was going to watch it later. To answer your question, I think you were talking about this. I think. You said something about the block you paint down. I'm pretty sure you were talking about the plate. That's what it's called, plate. If so, that's it right there. If not, I'm not sure what you were talking about, to be honest. But there's plate, and then there is rough plate. I don't know if I have the rough plate on here. I have the cobblestone, rough plate. I thought I had rough plate on here, but there's plate. Yeah, plate damage. That's what it is. And then there's the damaged plate. Yeah, I got a good bit of textures on here. Like I said, I don't have every single one of them. There's a couple it wouldn't let me bring in. And then there's a couple that I didn't try. But we definitely got way more textures than what we had to begin with in this map. Way more. Oh, we got vehicle mud, which wasn't in here before, so you got little tire marks and then little mud puddles. Only thing I don't like about it is like how close the mud puddles are together. It doesn't look right. Obviously, again, let's see. You got vehicle mud, which is the original one right here, and then you got ones with puddles. And then there's like 3 different kinds. One of them, the puddles aren't so close together like this one is. But we definitely have variety now, that's for sure. Oh, then we have railroad gravel. I was going to put that around the railroad. Maybe. Oh, we got this here too. Stone floor. So it's kind of like the dry or dusty rock texture, and then this other texture kind of mixed together. That would look good in like ruins, if you had ruins somewhere or something. And then there's different asphalts too. I think I could add the different asphalts. I didn't even try the asphalt, so I just left what was in there. And I did not add the other ones. I can, it ain't no thing, it won't be hard. Right. Like I said, I'm gonna have to do touch-ups along the edges. I don't know how it's gonna sink, so I don't want to bring the sand up too far. But we'll touch up the edges. Just underneath the water, you really can't see unless you actually go under the water and then do your painting. So I just mainly want to get the middle, and then we'll sink the ground down and finish it. Then I have a basic idea of how I want to do it. So we're going to have our water. Obviously, it's going to fill this whole area, and then it's going to come down and it's going to open up like this way. I get a round shape right here, and then it's going to come down, and then this is all going to be water here at the bottom of this little ramp, and then it's going to start from like right here and then come back this way, and then pretty much right where this road's running, kind of, the water's going to, it's going to be a big pool here, and then it's going to turn into a stream and then run under the bridges and flow into the river. Again, I gotta lift this bridge up and then somehow figure out where the spline for this train is, because I can't find it, so we can lift that track up so our bridges will be up in the air a little bit and not just barely hovering over the water. Welcome if you're just joining, welcome. I was working on the waterfall, but I need to import my white water and a couple other things. And the way I got the i3D files in the map, it's bringing the stuff over, but it's either invisible or it was white. So I just got to go re-export everything into this map. I tried to cheat, just throw it all in there all at once, but it's not working like that. So I'm gonna have to do it manually and go pull everything one at a time and get into the map. So I abandoned work on the waterfall for now. Putting all the rocks and everything in, just because I got to get that white water in there first before I put the rocks and stuff in. And I don't want to open up the other map that I need to export the stuff out of and take the risk of everything crashing on me. So I'll get everything ready for the next stream, and we will do that in the next stream. Right now we're painting wet sand, and this will be underneath of the water whenever we sink the ground down. And then along the edges will be dry sand and then rough sand. But we're painting everything with sand because you're going to be mining sand out of this waterway. That's the whole idea of it. And we added textures. We added a whole bunch of different paintable textures here because this map does not have sand and stuff standard. It's all added. Well, I can't say it doesn't have sand because it does have this wet sand, but for the regular like dry sand and that, this map does not have it. I added it to it. That and a whole bunch of other ones. So pretty much this is going to be our water bed right here once we sink the ground down. Man, I was kind of excited about working on them falls too. I wanted to get the falls done first before we got a lot of texture painting to do. We got to paint both of those hills on the other side of the waterfall. All the stuff behind us right now, like a lot of texture painting to do. Which I'm excited about doing it too, but I wanted to get the waterfall done first. Get the rocks in there, get the white water in there, and then get the actual waterfall water in. Our waterfall sound, all that stuff in there before I started doing the texture painting. But again, I can't stop the stream to import that stuff, so I'll get it all imported and ready to go for the next stream. And we're just working on something else for now. Corner's awful dark over here. I gotta re-download Blender so I can get a couple of 3D models converted to i3D files. That way we can bring them in. We're bringing in we're adding a great white shark and a orchid killer whale to the map. It's gonna be awesome. So we're gonna stop this, look right here, and then we'll have dry sand coming up off the bottom of this. But the way we got it, the water's gonna be kind of shallow. It'll get deeper once you dig the sand out, but it's still gonna be not the deepest thing ever. I might make it a little bit deeper up here, but it's gonna be to where you're gonna drive up out of the water onto this ramp. So I want to have, obviously it'll be dry, but I want to have a couple like tire marks of wet sand, and then like sand puddles when you first start up the ramp there, so it look like the vehicles are tracking water up the ramp. It'll be cool for sure. get this. I want to get this to where it's just starting up that ramp. Again, after we sink the ground, we might have to change some of this around a little bit. Get the basic layout of this wet sand though. And then we'll probably add a couple of the sand petals here and there just to break up that, so it ain't just all solid, the same texture there. And I think yeah, we'll fix the paint later, but I want to kick this out a little bit too. Yeah, I want to kick this out a little bit too. So we'll have a little bit of grass or rock or whatever we're going to have on that edge outside of the dirt or whatever is going to be on the road there. Alright, so I could just have this come all the way down this edge here, but I'm gonna kick it in like right in here somewhere like this. So it's gonna kick over and then down. But if I take and I lay this down a little bit, so this is like a more of a slope right here. Obviously all this will be shifted over this way a little bit, but like right in here. Something like this, we'll kick it over a little bit like that and then bring it down, and this will be our stream that'll run into the river. And then same here, this will come over like this maybe, then come around and then kick back around into the stream here. Again, we'll probably end up tweaking it a few times over again before we actually get what it's going to be, but this here will kind of help me too for sinking the ground. Give me some type of a guideline to follow. Like that. We could actually run the water clean up to here too. Like run it across the front of this here and then have it turn. But I think I'm just gonna bring it right here for now. The bigger we have this, the more of a sand mining area we'll have. Like I said, we could have just came in here and threw some sand in a hole and left, because that was the whole thing, was adding a sand mine. So all of this was built around needing somewhere to mine sand, and I wanted it to kind of make sense. Hey, water, let's just get the sand out of water. instead of mining it out of the ground somewhere, because this is more realistic-ish, I guess. So we came up with all this awesomeness just because we wanted somewhere to mine sand. It might be coming out too much right there. Again, I don't want it to get too crazy there. That looks better like that. I just made it bigger just to see A, what it would look like, and B, trying to get us some more mineable area. But it looks better like this. Something like that. Trying to get it. Let me go back. There we go. Bring this down. And then right there, I messed up. I want to bring it down. And then as soon as I hit here, hook back up with it like this. And then kind of come back down. Something like that. So, yeah, something like that. So I'm not sure exactly where I'm gonna need this bridge. Obviously, I gotta get rid of this road right here. And then just line this road up with this bridge, because I got these two bridges exactly like facing the same exact way. And then we'll run that water underneath both bridges, but then whenever you come across this bridge, it'll be like, I need to shift it back this way a hair, I think, but we'll have it to where whenever you come off this bridge, we'll move these trees. Then you can make a hard right, then come across this road to come across this bridge, and or then you can go straight and then up this way. Yeah, I really got to figure out what we're going to do with these bridges. Well, I know what I'm going to do with them, as long as I can find out how exactly this train is running. Like I said, I cannot find the spline for that train. Because I need to lift the tracks up. Here, I'll show you real quick what I'm trying to achieve. Because if we just sink the ground, then that bridge would just barely be hovering over the water. I don't want that. It doesn't have to be this high, but I want to pump the ground up a little bit and lift them tracks up. So the bridge will actually be up above the water, like these bridges are. Doesn't have to be that high, but I do want to get it up off of the ground. And the only thing in my road stopping me from achieving that is the train. Because there's no spline. So if I lifted the tracks up, right, and lifted the bridge up, if I don't find the spline and figure out how that train is running this map, the tracks will be up in the air, but then the train would just still be coming down here where the tracks are at now. So then the train would be driving through the tracks and underneath the bridge. So unless I can find that spline, that's not going to work. And I've been through all of this. There is no train spline up here. It's not under splines. It's not under the train tracks. I haven't been able to find it anywhere. And then if you take and you look, you start looking for things that aren't highlighted so you can make them visible and hope that it's the spline for the train. I have not been able to find it. I mean, there is a lot of stuff up here. I'm gonna have to take a whole day and just break down all this stuff and click everything open and try to find it. But other than that, I really don't know how that train's running. It has to be running off of some type of spline. Has to. And then whenever I tie, I'm gonna change this rock a little bit. Alright. But whenever I tie this waterway into this one, I think I'm going to make this sand bleed into the river. So it'll be like the force from the waterfall is pushing the sand out of this stream, or whatever you want to call it, pushing it into the river a little bit. So it'll be like an open little bit of sand, like the sand's bleeding from the bottom of that. And then we'll get it to blend, the two to blend together. That's the idea. Anywho. I'm still not sure if I like the shape of that though. I think I either gotta run this over this way more, or I don't know. I'm trying to get it to look good and be practical. Obviously, I mean, I would like for it to be big so there's more of a sand mining area, but if anything, we'll just make it to where it's a little bit deeper. But I'll cut it all down and see what it looks like from here, and then we'll make adjustments. the edge of this back, because I do want to pump that hillside out right there a little bit. And then we'll just tweak it later. There we go. Something like that, guys. That's how our water is going to be sitting. Man, it just really sucks because I wanted to start with this and then build off of that. Yeah, some of this stuff is most definitely different from what we had before I accidentally deleted the map. So, yeah, trying to get it back to what it was is most definitely not the same. Some of it's different. Like coming up out of here, I actually got this better than what it was. But we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna paint inside here. I'm pretty sure this is what we're going to keep it at, but we're going to paint this as mountain rock. Or dark mountain rock. Oh, that was dark, huh? I think that was, yeah, that was the dark. So dark mountain rock or mountain rock. We'll go with the dark. Appreciate the like there, guys. Appreciate it. And then what I like to do too is we got the mountain rock on the ground in here, but then I'll actually put building materials on the ground. So you can either keep it like that and play the map with the building materials there on the ground, or you can come in here and clean them out if you wanted to. But we'll have like gravel, the stone, the actual building material stone laid across the ground in here, so it's like the road was built out of it in the tunnel. Again, you can come in and clean it out if you want to. Yeah, if you're bored looking for something to do, or you can just leave it there. So. But I want it to look. That's anything though. Anything I do. If there's building materials there, I want it to look awesome. If you dig the materials out, it's going to look awesome underneath the materials. And that'll be pretty much for anything. So if we got a section where you're going to dig dirt, well, it's going to look awesome underneath of that dirt. Like, it's not just going to be a plain texture, one single texture plain painted down, and that's it, looking boring. It's gonna look a lot better after you dig the materials out than before you dug them out. And that's just my little thing. That's what I do with it. Alright. And then, excuse me. Already looks better, huh? Alright, so this here is going to get a lot more complicated here. A lot more complicated because the thing somebody would probably do is just come in here, paint it like that. Well, I can guarantee you one thing. They wouldn't have took all the time to do all of this, okay? That's all people do. They come in, they make it to where you can dig a ditch out in an empty plain field, and they call that their TP map, and that's it. And people's happy with it just because you can actually dig on the map, which is fine, but that's not what I do. I'm a visual player, so it's got to look amazing while I'm playing. Like, I don't want to dig dirt in an empty field. I want there to be a reason I'm digging dirt right here. We're not just going to come in and paint it like that and be done with it. Like I said, the backside here is just going to be grass with trees on it, and then it's going to look like this was actually cut into by man or by the waterfall carving this out, one and or the other. Well, or both, because obviously a waterfall didn't put the tunnel in there. But then we'll take, because there's different shades of this mountain rock, so we'll do like, we'll say the sun's coming from the right side, so we'll put light here, dark here, or wherever the holes are, we'll paint the dark stuff in there. And then we'll take like the forest leaf and put in these little dips, like the leaves unfell and then they fell into the little dips. Like, we're going to go crazy with it, and that's what makes my maps awesome. And then we'll take these rocks. This was the whole idea of this, to kind of make this look like this was a piece of rock and you had to bore through it to make a tunnel or whatever. But we'll grab some of these rocks and we'll throw them up in here and just make this look all uniform, solid right across there. And it's going to be great. I've explained that before, but it's been a while, and now that we was able to demonstrate what was happening, that's what's happening. Alright, so now, and then it's going to be the same up here. So you're going to have mountain rock. You might have a little bit of dirt here and there. You're going to have some forest leaves from the leaves blowing. You're going to have all kinds of stuff happening here. It's going to be highly detailed, okay? And that's what I do. It's just hard for me to move forward here because I wanted to get that done first. And then this train thing's driving me nuts because I've searched and searched and searched up here trying to find the splines for that, to figure out how exactly that train is running, and it has to be on some type of spline or something, because the train wouldn't work on the map. But give me like 2 minutes, guys. I gotta run upstairs real quick. I'll be right back. Right back. All right. And we're back, guys. Sorry about that. Had to go. Had to go. Alright. I'm so tempted to open up this other map so I can get that water in here, but I know what's going to happen if I do. It'll crash on me. Alright, so let's attempt to drop this down. So here's the thing here. I don't want this to be too deep. I want it to be deep enough we're going to be able to get a decent amount of sand in here. Alright. But I want there to be a good bit of sand. But I still want you to be able to track an excavator or something through here without it completely just covering the cab. So I want it to kind of be realistic-ish. Because if it's just covering the tracks, maybe the bottom part of the machine, that's achievable in real life. So if we can get the same effect on here, then it'll be realistic. But again, I want there. That's why I was trying to make this as big as possible without it looking cheesy, I guess. Without being just way too far out there. That way we can get as much sand in there as possible without having to make it too deep. Like I said, we could probably make it deeper back here towards the waterfall. Probably 2 times as deep back here. Maybe out to here, maybe. And in real life, that would probably be deeper right there anyway, just from the force of that water coming down, hitting that. It would definitely make that deeper. And then if we did do that, like I said, probably to like right here, everything from here up towards the falls deep. Then whenever it's being mined, you can start back here and just dig away from that deep spot. So that way you wouldn't have to drive down in it again after you dig it out. Like if I was playing this and I was digging the sand out here, this is probably where I would start anyway. It's right here. So when we drop this down, obviously we gotta have wet sand clean up to the top of that water, because there's not going to be dry there's not going to be dry material under the water. So whether we only sink it, I got mail popping up on my screen there. Here it goes again, popping up. Alright, yeah, something else popping up on me. Oh, come on, it's killing me. Something else popping up. Alright, so whether we just take and we sink it down to where it's just barely touching, or we just come back through with the wet sand texture and repaint the edges. I just wanted to make sure I had the middle of all this done, because it's easier to see the edge than it is all that to paint it. again, it's hard to tell like how deep something is or how big something actually is until you go in game. And I'm thinking this is pretty deep. It don't look very deep, but I think in game this might be deeper than what I'm actually thinking it is. So like I said, up here I really don't care. I'm gonna go ahead and make it all this depth though, and then come up here and make this up here a little bit deeper, and then off camera I'll throw it in game and check it out and see how deep it actually is, and then we might just have to fill this in a little more to take the deepness out of it, or it might be fine. So again, I'll check it out off camera once we're done here. We gotta bring some salmon in. Get some salmon in the water. Again, I gotta try to get those 3D images converted into i3D files so we can bring our shark and our killer whale in. I would put the shark in here, swimming in here, but the only thing with that is with the sand in there, the water wouldn't be deep enough for the shark. I mean, it would still be swimming there, but it wouldn't look right until you dug it out. So when I do bring them in, he'll just be swimming up and down this water, and then we'll put one down there in that water. And then the killer whale, I'll just keep down there in that waterway because that's a bigger waterway. I won't put it in this smaller one. My phone is going crazy. Battery died, and I just powered it back on a little bit ago there, and now it's just going crazy. Man. It's a good feeling having doing this part here. I should have been doing it a while ago. The map, yeah, computer crashing on me and losing the map. Man, I'd have probably been done with this whole section by now. Having to redo this whole thing really sucked. Let me tell you. Alright, so I left a nice gap there so I can bring this down as a gradual slope into the water. You'll be driving out of the water up onto that. And same with this ramp over here. And then obviously we have high walls on this side, but over here on this side, this will be like a beachy area. I'll give it a nice slope down and then put the dry sand back so far on this side over here, so it'll be like a beachy area. And then same thing with the waterway coming down through underneath the bridges. It's just really driving me nuts, that train's there, man, and I don't know where the lines are to move it. If anybody knows about this map and knows where they are, yeah, let me know. If not, I'll figure it out eventually. I have tore through it a few times though trying to find it and have not been successful, obviously. If it's there, I'm sure eventually I'll find it, but let me tell you, as much as I've been through it, I'm like thinking that it's really not there. But it's impossible for it not to be there, or the train wouldn't be running the map. Like, it has to be there. Other than that, if the train's running some other type of system, I don't know what it is, because as far as I know, they only run off the splines that I cannot find. Hey, welcome guys, if you're just joining, appreciate it. We are dropping this down to put sand in here, so this is where you'll be mining your sand from. And you got your waterfall up there, and it's where the gold mine used to be. And then we'll slope all this down and make this like a little beach area on that side there. Again, I gotta throw this in game and check the actual depth of this here. I don't want it to be too deep. Obviously, when it's full of sand, it's not going to be deep at all. It'll be real shallow. But I want it to where you'll still be able to drive through it with the excavator without it going up over the cab, just to where it's just covering the tracks and that on the excavators. All depending on what size excavator you have too, though. But yeah, that's the whole idea behind it anyway. Tell you what, back that up just to here. spin around and get a different view on that. I had to knock these trees back a little bit to do that beachy area. I'm not going to do up in here right this second until I figure out what I'm doing with them bridges, man. Yeah, maybe. I stayed over late at work today, so I ain't going to be able to mess with it too late here. It's actually my bedtime now. But off stream after work tomorrow, I'm going to mess with it again and see if I can figure out what this train's running off of the spine, so I can raise them tracks up to get this water going under that bridge. Without that bridge actually just sitting there barely hovering off of the water. I'm trying to avoid that, just so it doesn't look stupid. I was just trying to get it, trying to get it deep right there on the edge where I painted, and then we'll come back through with the smooth tool, like I said. Then we'll get this laid back to be a little gradual slope down, make a beachy area there. Once I get all my textures painted in here, guys, it's gonna be awesome. I was trying not to do this part here yet, but unfortunately, we gotta do some imports off camera. Yeah, and that's what I'll be doing too. Do some importing and exporting there off camera, so we can do our waterway, our white water, because I got a little trick for doing white water before waterfalls, and then we'll finish our waterfall there. I was hoping to do all that first before I did this, but we ran out of stuff to do because of that, so yeah, here we are. And then what I'll do is I'll make this deep right here, and then I'll slope this right where I stop here, this high wall here. I'll just slope that back into this ramp here, so it'll start from here and make one nice little slope. Technically I can just do it now, just add material to here and just beef this up right here like this, and then just hit it with the smooth tool, and it'll be a nice little gradual slope right there. Just run that all the way down through like that, something like that. This one here, I'll stay back a little bit right here, but not too much though, because I brought this out pretty far. I want you to be able to make that turn to start up this ramp. So if I was actually to take and run this down further, it'd be clear out here. So I might just have to eat into this a little bit, and it would kind of make this slope here a little bit steeper, but that's okay. This here is just like way too big, but that's cool though, because we'll have rocks and little trees or something lining the edges of this road. Like, it doesn't look too bad in the editor here, but when you go in the game, this area we're looking at here is massive. It is big. That's the only thing about the editor, man. Like, if you don't have a reference vehicle or something in the editor, you'll be doing something, you'll be like, oh, this is small, but when you go in the game, it's way bigger than what you think it is. Especially a bigger map like this, you'll be like, oh, that's a little area. No, it's not. it's big. So my last map I did, I actually had a golf cart. I had a golf cart in the map that I could just move around. So whenever I was working on stuff like that and I needed a perspective of scale, I would just grab the golf cart and throw it there just to see how big that area actually was, or wasn't. That's what I gotta do. I gotta zip this up when I'm done, and then that way tomorrow after work I can throw it in the game real quick and check to see how deep this actually is, and see whether I gotta fill it back up a little bit or not, and then start exporting all the stuff that I need. Like, I got a bunch of stuff I just threw into the map from a file, and some of the stuff is working, some of it's not. So what I might end up doing, instead of playing a guessing game throughout the thing and taking up space on the actual map files, using megabytes for something that's not actually working, I might just go in and delete everything in there, which I kind of figured was going to give me that problem. But like I said, a few things are working, a few things are not. So I might just go in and delete everything, and then physically, one by one, export all the stuff back into the map, so I know everything actually works, and I don't have to go later on down the road and fix it because it's working in the editor, but whenever you throw it in game, it's not working. And stuff does that a lot. You're like, oh yeah, it's working fine, perfect, exported real nice. No, just because they got texture and everything in the editor, whenever you throw it into the actual game, it's either all white or something's wrong with it. So I'm gonna go in and just do it all right now, so I don't have to worry about it later. I got the intensity turned down. That's why you see me scribbling. If I had all these turned up, it would work immediately as soon as I hit the button. But I turn them down, especially for like whenever you're smoothing something. Because if I came over with these turned all the way up, let's say I just wanted to knock this hump down just a little bit, I these are all the way up. As soon as you just tap that button, that smooth button, it'll knock it all the way down. It'll be smooth. So you turn these down to turn the intensity down, so whenever you tap that smooth button, it just takes it down just a wee little bit at a time. And instead of turning those up and down because it's a pain in the neck, I just leave them down, and then I gotta kind of scribble like this to get everything else to work faster. If not, then you run across it and it just goes real slow. You gotta kind of scribble it. Scribble. Man, just adding the water in here, man, looks completely different. I was hoping not to do it right now until I got that fall done, but it is what it is. Knock this down and that, and then see if I can't get away with making this any bigger. But I think if I make it bigger than what it is, it's gonna not look natural. And I'm trying to make sure that it looks natural. I should leave a little island. Alright, so oopsie. Yeah, I wish I wouldn't have stayed late at work. That way it could get... Well, I didn't even know if my computer was even going to work. Like I said, it crashed and it was burning. Crashed and burnt, and it would not fire back up. Well, it would fire up, but it wouldn't do any type of stress at all. You put on the graphics card, it was just crashing. Immediate black screen. It was beeping at me. Beeping codes. Wouldn't stop until I shut it off. It was all bad. So I'm surprised it's even working now. Like I said, I tore it apart, cleaned the graphics card, like really cleaned it. I tore every piece off that graphics card that you could tear off and cleaned everything. And I cleaned the CPU and then put it all back together. And it's working okay for now. Knock on wood. Yeah, so I still need a new graphics card because this one's definitely on its way out the door. But I'm just glad it's working now. This is awesome. Yeah, so I wish I'd have came home sooner so I could worked on this a little longer. But yeah, so because I need like I said, I need another 150 hours of view time to finally make partnership there on YouTube. I thought I had my 4,000 hours, but it was, I actually had 4,190, which I thought I was good, but it wasn't. It wasn't all public. So I had to go ahead and get that 190 hours so I can make my partnership. So we're sitting at 150 now. We need 150, and then I'll finally, a year later, make a partnership. Lewis, Blackwell, how's it going, buddy? That. That's any bad part about having the intensity down. You just it takes a little more effort to make sure you got it all the same height. So I think that's gonna look decent, I guess. That train, I'm telling you, man, that train is gonna drive me nuts until I figure out how to get it raised in the air. I'm good, not too bad. Could be better. Yeah, cause get a new graphics card, not worry about crashing, but it could always be worse too, though. So I can't complain. I really can't. They say ain't nobody listening anyway, right? I should remember you because you are a modding team. But I mean, the name looks super familiar. I remember talking to you. I just can't remember when. This was Alaska Delta, the map. Everything you see here, I added all these mountains and all that. This whole corner from this mountain all the way over here, none of that was there. I just threw all the mountains and stuff in there just so I was able to put this waterfall in. So it made sense. So it didn't look like a waterfall was just coming out of the sky out of nowhere. So I threw all the mountains in there so it looked like the water was coming out of the mountains. And then I beefed the map up to try to match the mountains. So whenever you're looking at it from back here, I mean, it just looks like one. Looks like a married couple. Yeah, this will definitely be PC only for sure. The only reason I'm doing this is because this is going to be all sand in here to mine the sand. That's why I didn't make it very deep, so that way you can mine the sand out of this and then still be able to drive through it without it the water covering the cab of the excavator or whatever you're using. It'll just cover the tracks. Yeah, and then I only put these here. I mean, had to throw a tunnel in there, so I beefed these up to make it look like you had to cut the tunnel into it. Yeah, so the tunnel, there was a reason for the tunnel being there. And then I put this one here just to make it to where I'm gonna fill this in with trees back here behind that. But I put that one there just to make it to where when you come across that bridge, you have to come up this way. That's why I put that hill there. Unless you logged all the trees out of there. Will I do FS22 maps too? Yeah, yes. And the only reason I put a hesitation to that is because my graphics card. I don't even think I'm gonna be able to play the new game because the requirements for the new game, the graphics card is bigger than mine. And I already have a problem with FS19. And that's the sad part, man. The graphics card's holding me back from everything I can do. Like, it's holding me back. So, and I have no money to get a new one. That's the sad part. But yeah, the requirements for the game, like my card might be able to play the game on low settings, but I know as soon as I try to hit record, it would just crash, because that's what it does to me already on FS19. But yes, even this map, when I'm done with it, and the last map that I made, because I'm not done working on the last map, I'm gonna convert it over. I'm gonna convert both of them to FS22, and then in the future, as long as I'm able to, most definitely make a match for FS22. Been with modding team for 1 year. I have not done console maps before, no. Which I'm pretty sure I can make a pretty dope map though. Pretty much the ones that I have done have been for TP. So for public works jobs, etc. But I don't just add a job, as you see. I add lots and lots and lots of detail and the job. But for FS22, that was the game plan. Hopefully I can get a new graphics card somehow by then. And then that is a goal, to be able to make a map and have the first map submitted to Giants for console players. Yeah. Even working on the map here, knock on wood, I'm surprised it hasn't crashed already. And this here Giants editor doesn't use nowhere near on the graphics card what playing the game does. Yeah, like if I take and I turn real quick and keep turning real quick and moving around the map, it will most definitely crash on me. Knock on wood, I'm surprised it hasn't crashed already. But yeah. It's that bad. Like I got my graphics card's decent. It's a decent card, but the only problem is it's only 3 gigs. So it's a smaller card to begin with, and then it doesn't have the memory on the card to help it out. So it doesn't have memory, and it's a smaller card. So that's my problem. So if I had the same exact card with at least 6 gigs on it, my issues wouldn't be nowhere near as bad as they are. So unfortunately, that's where I'm sitting at with that. This is a 4 times map, so big, little, one size bigger than a normal map. I was worried about that too, trying to work on a bigger map with this card. But for the most part, it's okay. Yeah, it's a pretty big map. This is just a little section of it. I had to watch flying around too, because it'll crash on me. So here's our section here that we're working on. And you got that. It's a pretty decent sized map. There's a plane that flies around the map. I put a banner on the back of it, so it pulls a banner. And then I'm gonna add another one, and I'm gonna have it like fly around and then come through these mountains and come out over top of the waterfall pulling that banner. So it's gonna come out over here. So if you're down here, you'll look up, see the plane coming through there pulling a banner, man. It's gonna be dope. It'll definitely be dope, man. stand here and see a plane come through pulling a banner while you're working. That'd be awesome. Yeah, but I'm gonna have sand down here, and then just to add more something else. Like you got rock over here, lots of rock, so we don't really need rock, but I'm gonna add rock or something right here just to give you. That's why I got it sunk down like this, so I can fill that in with rock or something. But that'll be just to give you something else to do next to the falls, so you can enjoy the falls some more. And then maybe put a little dirt strip area back here, and then bump all the trees back up there. Lots and lots of forestry on here too. The trees are spread a pretty good ways apart, actually. See how far apart they are? Well, I'm fixing that, and I'm bringing them closer together, making them nice and tight. So there's gonna be a lot of forestry. I started Ash Map for FS22, but got to wait for update from Giant, so just going to carry on to get other map finished. Yeah, so yeah, we gotta wait for them to convert everything, huh? I don't do FS19 map, just going to start. Yeah, man. I would have waited too, but and just converted over once it's done, so I wasn't too worried about it. This one here or the one you're working on? I know it'll be out before I'm done with this map. I know that for a fact. But there's a lot of people not even going to get the new game, man. So either way, I'll have a copy for FS19 and FS22. How do you place cars in a map? You mean like parked cars? You gotta have an i3D file of it. So either go over to a map that has parked cars and export them to your map, and or if you have the No Man's Land placeable mod, which has all the placeables from No Man's Land, there's a bunch of stuff in there. That mod actually has all the parked cars. So if you get that mod and you unzip it and then actually throw it into the map, like into a folder inside the map, like objects and or whatever, or prefabs or whatever, and then when you're inside the map, you just come up to file, import, and then go to the maps file to wherever you put that mod, and then you pull the cars out of there. But the same thing, so if you go to a map that has cars, which is almost all of the maps, you come up to files. You can't see my drop down, but you would come up to files, right, and then go down to export. Go down to export. I'm sure you know how to do this, but I'm gonna tell you anyway. Export with files. Hit export with files, and then you export it to the map that you're working on, and then you go to the map you're working on and import it. You mean on here? I'm not doing a road on, like, right here where I'm at, no. I mean, there's little dirt roads. There's little dirt roads here. And then, I mean, there's actual roads on the map, right? So you got, there's a lot of dirt roads on this map too, but you got actual roads. But to get back here in the woods, in the forestry area, it's just a dirt road back here. Right? And then I'm adding the bridge. But it's just dirt roads to get back here, so yeah, and it's just a mining area, so we just got dirt roads. But we do have actual roads. There's only one set of traffic too, so there's no traffic that runs these roads except for the one road up here, and there's only traffic that runs that one road, and they go up and down this road right here, and that's it. So I'm gonna add extra traffic to the map. I'm gonna put traffic on all these roads once I'm done with it, and then maybe add some more pedestrian traffic here and there. But so there's a bunch of fields over here. I'm probably gonna take some of them out to do other stuff, but I think the majority of the farming stuff, oop, jumping around on me, the majority of the farming stuff will be back here. And then yeah, we got a couple of main roads here. Then the BGA, I'm gonna take this field back here, this one right here, and make it smaller, and or take it completely out, and then do a lot bigger BGA, like a lot better, a lot bigger BGA. Yeah, some of these fields, like most of these fields, are probably gonna stay there. I'm gonna pop a few out there to add stuff. Dillo, silo. What about the silo? You wanted to see it? This is the oil. Yeah, in here, whenever you start the game though, that all changes. But, yeah, I mean, I could take and change that and put different stuff in them. You could take and actually paint corn in them and stuff too if you wanted to, but you just leave them like that as long as somebody... It all depends on how you do it, but yeah, it'll all be growing stuff there whenever you enter the game. Yeah, here's the banner on the plane. So whenever you start the game, you start, I don't know, somewhere in here. I think you start here on the runway, actually. Right here. Whenever you load into the game, this plane is flying already. And then it comes flying, and it comes down through here. And I made it to where it just touches down in the water, and then takes back off, pulling that banner. Then it goes back into the mountains. Then it comes back around, runs this way, makes a big loop, and then comes back around, does the same thing. So I'm going to do another one of those planes, pulling a banner, and then that one's going to come through the waterfall, like I said. And then I'm going to make this plane right here fly too. So there will be a cargo plane flying, and then 2 banner planes flying. How long did what take? This map? Yeah, mine, I mean, it's a TP map for mining and public works jobs and that, so I couldn't make it to be for console if I wanted to. But, it's not my original map anyway, though. I'm just editing it, so unless I completely wiped everything out and completely changed it, I wouldn't be able to upload it for console anyway, because it's not my original map. You won't be able to tell the difference when I'm done. Yeah, you wouldn't be able to tell when I'm done what map it was, but yeah, I'm not the original creator of it. I will be for FS22 though. I'm gonna do my own map from that. From scratch. If I can, like I said, I don't think my hardware is gonna let me. I've entered in to win a bunch of graphics cards and new computers with graphics cards in them, but yeah, I done entered in for 50 of them, lost all 50, so I highly doubt I'm gonna win anything, but I tried. I don't know, it's Alaskan Delta. Alaskan Delta. That's the name of the map. Like I said, you won't be able to tell. If you came into it, you wouldn't be able to tell it was that map once I'm done with it. Like I said, it wasn't, everything you see in front of you here wasn't here. I did all of this. So I completely wiped this out and redid it. And then once I'm done with that, then I'll move on and do that to back there. And then I'll move over here and do that back there. So, like I said, you won't be able to tell once I'm done. But for the detail I put into it, man, it would take me forever starting from scratch. But like I said, I want to start my own map from scratch, but there was no point in doing it when the new game's coming out. So for the new game, I am making my own map for the new game. Really trying to get that to drop, so this will be, like I said, like a nice little beachy area, so it isn't just a high wall right off the edge into the water. Where you can track up to the edge and just get in there nice and gradually. I have to really sink this down. But I ain't gonna pay too much attention to it right now. Oops. Overshooting the target. Like I said, I wanted to do that waterfall and all the rocks and stuff first in that white water. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and stop right there. It's already past my bedtime, guys. I'm working night turn this week, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop it here. And then, like I said, I'm gonna import that stuff before I start the next stream. I'm gonna import or export and then import that stuff into this map, and then throw this in game and see how deep that water actually is, to see if we gotta make it deeper, make it less deep, or whatever we gotta do with it. And then we'll start the next stream. We'll be ready to rock and roll. So if you want Triple D'd up from the feet up, check out the merch store. The link is in the description and under about on our page. Other than that, if you like what you see, go ahead and hit that like button. If you want to see what's coming, what's next, hit that subscribe button. And I'm out. Doses. Good night. Good night. Appreciate you watching.